Hey guys, what's up? What's up? What's up? All right. All right. All right. All right. How are you guys? Let's getting started. We're getting started on tonight's live, um, and we're excited about another Q&A for this evening. I love it because it's an opportunity for me to see what you're thinking and to answer questions. Thank you guys for those of you all who did come on and posted some updates to your life, updates to things that are going on in your world. I'm going to encourage you and ask you to keep doing that. It really is very cool to hear from you. Okay, but a couple housekeeping tips before we jump right in because we're there at 7 p.m. now. So as people come on, please let us know who you are and where you are from. Um, all right, all right, all right. Let's see here. Let's see. I think we have a few people on. Are these people on now? Please let us know if you're on right now. Um, our app is updating constantly, and we are constantly doing things for our app to make sure that we're reaching you where you need to be reached, and that we're to make sure that we're scratching where you itch. Hey, Lynn, how are you doing? How are you doing? Good to see you. I'm sorry, I'm just making sure that we're on and that everything's good here. All right, hey, Lynn. All right, let's see who else is on tonight. We're gonna be jumping right into it because we have a lot of questions. I'm gonna be answering some of the questions that some of you have asked from email. Hey, Leslie. Some of you have asked from email, and if you have questions also, please, this is your time to jump in and let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what's on your mind. We're going to jump in here and we're going to get real spicy, no holds barred. I know y'all can get real rank sometimes, and that's okay. I don't mind rank. So we're going to do that tonight. All right, are you on? I want to get started. So please let me know where you're from if you're just tuning in. Let me know where you are from. And let's rock and roll. All right. All right, there you go. Kimberly Curtis from Charlotte, North Kakalaki. Love it. I love it. Hey, from Georgia, Christine. That's awesome. I love Charlotte. My wife and I, we fell in love with Charlotte once we went up there and stayed downtown at the Ivy. Okay, so my wife said the notification didn't go out. Let's see. Let me do it again here. Okay, let's do it again. All right. What bothers me sometimes is that we do have technical issues on occasion. So thank you guys for your indulgence and for your patience as we try to work out the kinks. Technology, believe it or not, it's still developing. For as long as we've had internet, some of you were born with internet, but it's still developing. We still have glitches. So I offer apologies that we cannot resolve, but it is what it is. All right. Hey there, Martha K. How are you? H-Town, Houston, Lynn's up in the house. Okay, guys, let's get started. So there was a question that was sent to me, and I want to ask it to you, and we're going to respond to it somewhat. It's from a couple that was recently married, and they asked, we've been married for less than a month, and my ex is back. My ex is back, and this is the one that got away. am I wrong for wanting to meet and talk and just sort of get closure after I'm recently married now, and this person is back into my life? The woman is asking this: is it okay for her to want closure? And so I want to talk about that a little bit. First of all, talk about what closure is. Do you think that's necessary? You're married, you're in a relationship, you locked it down, you're doing a marriage thing, and now the one who got away, the one you always wanted, the one who made your toes curl, the one who, when you saw him, it's like, what do you do? Is it okay? Not that you're going to do something wrong, but should we just meet and talk and get closure and all that? Is that okay? And should my husband, my now husband, have a problem with it? Yeshua says it's a trap. Dude, you're speaking like a dude, and I appreciate your testosterone being on here. Yes, you're wrong. Your marriage was your closure. Okay, I agree with Leslie that your marriage was your closure. And I think sometimes we can really, Christine says, absolutely not. Listen, is there ever a time when you as a married person should ever meet with someone from your past that you've had intimate relations with, let's just call it, that you've had sex with, someone from your past? Should you have any real relationship with those people? Is that necessary? Okay? And I think that sometimes we can become very naive in these things. And we become very naive, and we can fool ourselves into closure. I think that that's something that's been introduced into pop culture, and we believe like now, we got to get closure. We got to get closure. We got to, I am not a big fan of closure. And Leslie said only if there are kids involved. Listen, if there are kids involved, then your new husband is the stepdad to those kids. And if there are going to be any meetings, there need to be meetings with mom and stepdad and that young man or that old man or whoever he is. Come on to the house, sit down with the family, and let's talk about it. Okay, if there are kids involved. All right, but on just GP, you must be careful and don't fool yourself into thinking that you're getting closure when he's thinking about getting your clothes off. That's what that's all about. Okay, I'm sorry. I said it. Doggone it. Rosie says she's gonna go for closure, end up with clothes off. Thank you. Yes. I didn't even know you said that when I made that comment. Lynn, if you go and seek closure, let's keep it a stack. Come on, keep it a stack. You're seeking the sex. You know what? Look, okay. Can I be straight with y'all? I'm gonna be straight with you. Before I was married, I was dating somebody, and I had that situation. I just thought about it. But she came and said, I'm gonna meet this guy I used to date. Whatever. We're just gonna meet. He's coming in town, and we're just gonna meet real quick and whatever. You know what? That was the end of that little dating experience I had with that young lady. The fact is, I'm like, look, there is no circumstances that exist where somebody you've been bumping fuzzies with, all of a sudden now you want to meet and just talk over good old times. No, it ain't gonna happen. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. Yes, doggone it. I said bumping fuzzies. Okay. Okay. Okay, exactly 100. Okay, real talk. Absolutely. So that's one thing that we have to understand. That sometimes we really deceive ourselves with this idea of closure, as though it's something that's going to psychologically satisfy us, when it's not. You can get closure. I want y'all to hear me. You can get closure without anyone else involved. You can get closure without anyone else involved. Okay? No, Wendy, I never met with anybody for closure. I thought you were going to say, no, I did not. I've never gone for closure. Closure's never been my thing. Okay? When I'm done with you, I'm done with you. The fact that I said we're not together anymore, that is closure. Okay? That's the way it was when I was single. We closed. We opened when we started going together. When we stopped, we closed it. Anything that I need to talk about after that, I resolve. I pray about it. I talk to my close friends about it. But I am now starting to transition you out of my mind, out of my spirit, out of my life. You're right, Wendy. Get closure with Jesus. All right? Try Jesus. Don't try your ex. All right. She might want to meet him to show him what he missed. And now let me add on to that, Kimberly. Women, do you think there is a thing that women do when they find out that their men have moved on? Is there a thing that they do where they kind of want to flex a little bit and show them what he missed, what they missed? Is that a thing? Y'all let me know. Is that a thing where women know that if a guy's going on, especially if he's upgraded, let's just keep it a buck, especially if he's upgraded, is that a thing? No, let your success be their regret. Now that I agree with, but I've seen it happen on occasion where women try to kind of do that, and maybe even dudes also. I think with men it might be a little different. Shayla says it's definitely a thing, or she started wanting him back. I guess it's the whole idea of one person's trash is another person's treasure. Then you realize that, hey, look, wait a minute, he wasn't that bad after all. Maybe I should have tried harder. It reminds me of a story, and I may have shared it with you once before, of a couple that I counseled years ago where she divorced him because he was not up to her standards. He wasn't working, et cetera, et cetera. And then what happened is that he got remarried, and this woman just turned his life around, and he became the man that the previous wife always wanted. Well, in that particular situation, what happened was that the previous wife was very regretful, very hurt, and wanted to see, well, maybe we should have. And I'm here to tell you, if you don't treat something right while you got it, don't try to treat it right when it's gone. Okay? If you can't treat it right while it's there, you won't treat it right once it's gone. It's just the way it is. Okay? Let me look at some of these comments. All right, great. Closure, legs work in tandem. God, Wendy. Let your success be your closure. Definitely a thing. Okay, the best revenge is living well without him. Okay. Shayla, or you need to be real with yourself and admit that really you still don't want him. You're just triggered. Now, that's an important point. Sometimes you don't want him. You just don't want to look bad. It's not that you want him. You just don't want him to win. It's not that you want him. You just don't. And ultimately, that comes to, I don't want to look like I made a mistake. I don't want to look like I'm a failure. I don't want to look like I did something stupid by letting him go. Okay. Closure and legs work in tandem. Open when you start and close when you're done with the relationship. Yes, my very expressive and my expressive wife. Yes, she said that. Closure and legs work in tandem. Okay. It opens when you start the relationship and close when you're done with the relationship, and that's how it should be. That's exactly how it should be. Okay, so we've established here that there is no reason in general that you should visit an ex. Okay, let's take this another step, because this is a Q&A, so if you have questions, shoot them at me and we're going to deal with them. So that brings to another question. That was just one question we had, but that brings to something else. Is it okay to be friends with an ex, even if it's platonic? Is it okay to be friends with an ex? Is it okay to have those kinds of relationships where, it's not just my ex, but we're best friends. We were good friends also. We used to screw around. Now we're friends. Okay. So it's okay. And this is what I've heard from women. And if you can't deal with it, then you got a confidence problem or a maturity problem, which is classic gaslighting. Some of the answers here. Kimberly says no. Ted here, no. Thank you, Ted Stewart. I appreciate you, my brother. He says, no, it is not okay to be good with an ex. Now, is this just on both sides? Women, do you trust your man with his ex? And men, do you trust your woman with her ex? Okay, and I think the answer so far categorically has been no. Ted says no. Ebony Lewis says no. Kimberly says no. Is there any circumstance, though? Y'all looking at these comments. Rosie says, are they gay now? Okay. Well, if they're gay now, I don't know if that's an exclusion or a caveat, but let's just say no. not a fan, but he or she needs to be a friend to both of us. And I think that's an important point, Melanie. Whereas that if there is going to be a friend, and I'm just going to say this across the board, if there is a male or female friend in the relationships, because let's just be real with it. We've had friends before we were married, and those friends, kind of bleed over into our relationships at times. If that's the case, here's a rule that I want you guys to never forget. If you have a male friend, or if you develop a male friend, or develop a female friend from work or from church or whatever, the first thing you must do is introduce that person to your significant other. You must do that. Okay, you must introduce them to your significant other. The reason is because you're going to release any kind of tension or any kind of question. And it's a thing of trust. It's a thing of vulnerability and openness. I'm letting you know that I met this new person. And this person I think is cool. And I want you to see the coolness that's in them. And if there's any association with them, I want you to be involved with it. Now, here's what's happening. A couple things are happening. I'm letting that new person that I've met or that old person that I've known, I'm letting them know that my now current spouse or current person is my priority. I'm letting the outside person know that my current person is my priority. Secondly, I'm letting my current person know that the outside person is the minority. I think that's really important for you to get that. And anytime you're not letting your spouse know or letting that person know that there's somebody else out there that I'm cool with, what's happening is that you're keeping something to yourself that could blow up and cause some major problems in the future. All right? I want you to get that. Okay. It's not okay, but sometimes you really don't see him in that way anymore. The thrill been gone. You just like their personality. And Shayla says that you and your ex are friends. And that's cool. If you're married, though, and I don't remember if you are married, but if you are married, I challenge you, let that ex also be your husband or your boyfriend's friend. I'm trying to save you from a world of hurt. Doesn't make a difference how cool their personality is. It's an important thing to remember. All right. Ali says, my ex is my best friend. And that's cool, as long as your ex also is a good friend of your present significant other. There has to be checks and balances. Even in the U.S. government, there's supposed to be checks and balances. We know how that's going right now. But there has to be checks and balances in your relationship. There has to be accountability. And the way to do that is to make that person known to your significant other. Okay, Ted says this. I trust the obvious. I love this, Ted. I trust the obvious. They loved each other once, and if they are still friends, then the interest still exists. Come on now, y'all. Listen to a man drop some knowledge. He said they loved each other once, and if they're friends, that interest still exists. And sometimes it's only a thin line for that friendship to actually become more than that. So you guys must be careful. I'm trying to save relationships here. If your spouse is comfortable with it, it's fine. If your spouse is comfortable with it, it's fine. And even then, you still have to walk a very boundary-ridden rope, okay? You have to walk a very fine line. And you got to be careful. Marie says this. I'm your first friend, but don't keep your friendship with your ex a secret. That's it right there. Christine says, I agree. Luann, can opposite sex just be friends even when you're in a relationship? Again, if you're in a relationship, do I have female friends? Absolutely. But I can't think of one female friend I have that my wife doesn't know. I don't have any. And that's good. I don't have any female friends that my wife is not acquainted with. Nobody's going to walk into our relationship and say, oh, I know your husband, and she don't know who it is. Not going to happen. Why? Because I value my relationship. And if you value, remember, this is all about priorities. And my relationship has to have top priority over every other relationship, even my parents. It has to have top priority. That's the way it's made. Okay. Wendy, if your spouse is not comfortable, your friend, if they are truly your friend, should step back. Absolutely. If your spouse is not comfortable, any real friend is going to step back and say, hey, you know what? I'm not coming between this. I care too much for you, and I care too much for your spouse. All right. Kathy says, sorry to be late. Okay. Luann, avoid trouble. Absolutely. Can an ex that's a friend, you don't give me acronyms. or give you dating advice? Can an ex that's a friend, oh my God, thank you for this, Yeshua. Can an ex that's a friend give you dating or marriage advice? First of all, an ex that's a friend, no. If it's dating advice, an ex that's a friend and you're dating but you're not in a relationship, then it doesn't make a difference. If you're in a relationship, a committed relationship, your ex that you dated, that you used to screw, let's just be real with it, should they be giving you advice? Probably not. I challenge you, I'm cautioning you that if you need advice, if you're in a relationship and you need advice from someone, consult a professional. Okay? Consult a professional. Because any ex that you've had any kind of tie with, any kind of intimate tie with, they're going to veer on your side. Just the way it is. Okay? Zero interest there. Say that again. Absolutely. If it's a secret, it's a problem. There you have it. If it's a secret, it's a problem. Ebony says this. If you've been intimate with a friend, it's a sticky and tricky situation. Look, it is very sticky and very tricky. I got another question that's going to be coming up in a second. Wendy, once you get into a relationship, you don't have the luxury of saying, I knew them first. Ooh, yeah, I see where you're going with that, babe. Oh my God, the last thing you want is for somebody to come up to you in a marriage or in a relationship and say, oh, I had them before you did. I had them first. Girl, man, please. You don't want that. Shayla says sometimes your current partner does not want to befriend your friend. Now that's something that you need to. I'm gonna sit on that for a second. If your current partner does not want to befriend your friend, that requires conversation. If your current partner is finding that there's, in most cases, for a guy, if I look at another dude, I'm like, oh, he's cool. Yeah, he's cool. All right, I see why you're his friend. All right, that's cool. Or woman, oh, she's nice. She's sweet. She's so respectful. I can see that. But if your current partner says, no, I don't want to be their friend, that requires communication and conversation as to why. When someone does not want to be someone's friend, there's something they're sensing. There's something they're seeing. There's something there. And you cannot just sweep that under the rug and say, oh, well, you just ain't mature. No, screw that. Something's wrong. And most couples that I've counseled who are breaking up is because they have not attacked those issues, those micro issues where something is really wrong. All right? All right. Wendy says here, ex-boyfriends might stay close under the guise of being a good friend, but he just wants to bone you with no strings attached. Dang, can a brother get a break? He just wants to bone you, really? So if no understanding can be had, then what? Okay, thank you. Strictly platonic, no attraction prior. If no understanding can be had, then you have. And I challenge you, and I'm not just saying this because I wrote the book, but I challenge you in the book Marriage Ain't for Punks. I do talk about how to categorize people in your life. Your primary relationships, your proximate relationships, your peripheral relationships, and your public relationships. And I talk about that. The fact is that if your spouse is not comfortable with someone, does that person then have to be a primary contact in your life? I suggest not. Or approximate contact. This is something you got to talk about with your spouse. Because if you're not comfortable with that person, then where's my real priority? If it's with you, I'm going to push that person to the side. I know y'all don't want to hear it, but that's my friend. That's my friend. Yeah, but that ain't your spouse. I'm sorry. It ain't your spouse. Buy a dog. Giant schnauzers are wonderful. All right. So, hey. Yes. Okay, Ted, a real friend will first make sure that they can have a meaningful relationship with your spouse or partner before they can continue their relationship with you. A friend will stop and remove themselves if they see that their presence will cause a problem with the one you love. Yes, we said that, yes. That's exactly what will happen. Let's dive into what is the friendship offering that your spouse or partner or partner is not bringing, okay? I'm specifically talking about an ex. What is the friendship offering that your spouse or partner is not bringing to the relationship, I assume you're saying? What is it about that ex that's fulfilling a need that your partner cannot feel. If I understand you correctly, that's what you're saying. That what is it? What friendship offering is your spouse not providing that you're getting from someone else? And that's a whole different conversation. Because if I'm getting something from you that I cannot get from my partner, that's a problem. Now, look, the boys, I got boys that I talk to. My fellas, I don't expect to get from my wife what I get from my fellas. We talk about sports. We talk about other crap. We laugh about stupid stuff that she is not interested in. But when it comes to other women, there should be nothing, very little, if anything, I'm going to say nothing that I can get from her that I cannot get from my wife. I know y'all may not want to hear that, but look, marriage ain't for punks. This is the gospel here. Well, you know what I'm saying in so many words. All right. Could be wolf in sheep's clothing, waiting for trouble to step back in. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some people are just waiting on the wings. My ex never took my side. 99% of the time, he sided with the male I was seeing. Hold up, Allie. What's going on here? My ex never took my side. 99% of the time, he sided with the male I was seeing. Okay, your ex never took your side. So even though your ex knew you're the guy you're in a relationship with, and 99% of the time, he took his side. He knew you. It probably wasn't a good idea to have him in your world. Okay, I'm just saying, Allie. I love you, but it probably wasn't a good idea to have him in your world. Okay? Because you can see here that, and women got to understand something. I'm going to tell you, that guy code is real. The guy code is real. It is real. And men ain't trying to break it. When a man breaks a guy code, he's called by some very unsavory names by other men. So I'm not surprised that 99% of the time he's taking the man's side. That's a part of the guy code. It is what it is. I'm sorry. Absolutely, Melanie. Yes, a fun personality. Okay. Particularly opposite sex and especially an ex. Okay, y'all are speaking to stuff. No matter how uncomfortable it gets to loosen ties with a friend, you must do it if your spouse is uncomfortable. A spouse must protect each other at all costs. Thank you, honey, for that wrap up. You're absolutely right. It makes no difference how uncomfortable it is. Makes no difference how hurt your friends. If they butt hurt because all of a sudden now it's like, oh, you don't want to be with me no more because you all. Yes, right. You're absolutely freaking right. I'm married. I'm in a relationship. This is my significant other. This is the person I've committed myself to. And if you're hurt by that, too bad. Yes, just like that. I think we've really screwed up relationships sometimes when we get to the point where we believe that friendships are more important than relationships. That our friendships should supersede our intimate, committed relationships. And it should never be that way. Especially when it comes to marriage. Your ex, your friends, there's something, and I'm going to go Bible with you. There's something when the Bible says that a man shall leave his father, his mother, and cleave to his wife, connect to his wife, be bound to his wife. Friends are just understood. You ought to leave everybody, your wife and your husband have to be your top priority. Case closed, bar none, shut the book. All right. When do you drop that knowledge? Thank you, honey. I learned my lesson. I'm having this conversation in the beginning of the dating. Yes, Shayla. Thank you so much, hon. All right. Your ex shouldn't be your confidant. That needs to be your spouse, period. And I'm going to drop something else here. I'm glad you guys agree with this. I'm going to drop something else here as we close because we were almost done. My mom always told me friends are no good for your marriage. Right. Let me tell you something else who should not be your confidant. Your pastor. Now, in a counseling setting, it's perfectly okay if you're counseling with your pastor, but it shouldn't be without your spouse. If you're having professional counseling, different story. I'm a counselor, right? I counsel people, and I'm here to tell you that it's a very fine line you got to walk, because especially if your pastor is a man and you're going to him and you're talking. Husbands don't rock with that all the time. They don't rock with that all the time. I'm here to tell you. Well, my pastor says, I tell women in a heartbeat, go back and talk to your husband. What does your husband say? Because he's the pastor of your home. He's the priest of your home, not me. He is. I'll talk to both of y'all, but make sure that you understand the priority in your life. Okay? I hope y'all got that. We're done. We're good. Them pastors be one, them draws too. Lynn, I love you. But don't be talking about pastors. Pastors be one, them draws too. Stay alert. You know what? Look, not any of the pastors I know. There's some pastors out there who be hunting the draws, but not this one. Okay? Trust. We're celebrating 13 years wedding anniversary. Been tough. Oh, bless your heart. Luann, yes, I suggest you get counseling. It's always tough. It's always tough, but it's possible. It's always tough, but it's possible. Okay, what if your husband says, I'm going to answer this last one, okay, because we're done. We weren't in a relationship. We were in high school. We're just high school friends, and I was never able to introduce y'all, but they're having secretive conversations. Okay, I'm trying to get you, Jay. What if your husband says, we weren't in a relationship. We're just high school friends, and I was never able to introduce y'all. Oh, I get it. But they're having, okay, yeah, I don't care. I'm sorry, Jay or Jai. I'm sorry. Doesn't make a difference. I'm never able to introduce y'all. You were high school. That's all good. You're in a relationship now. Introduce now. I don't care about the past. Introduce now. Okay? Right now, even if it was someone that you didn't know before, now is the time to introduce. Now is the time to make sure that person knows you. There should be no secret conversations. I'm sorry. And if your husband's doing that, he's gaslighting you. Sorry, dude. You know I love you. I'm a big pro. Look, I'm a pro man. I am. But wrong is wrong. Right is right. Okay? He lying. Agree with Wendy. Secretive conversations. Red flag. Absolutely. You're right. No secretive conversations. Cannot do it. All right? Guys, look. Thank you so much. Come back on. I like the Q&As. I normally bring you topics, but I really like the Q&As because we get a chance to talk about some things. And on Monday, we're going to answer some more questions. People send me in questions. I'm going to challenge you. When you finish this, go to the front page, post questions even. If you have questions about relationships, questions and things you want us to talk about on the lives, let us know so we can talk about them, okay? Glad you guys enjoyed it. Okay? Awesome. God bless you guys. Can't wait to see you guys on Tuesday. Tell your friends. Thank you for bringing some of y'all brought out your men. Bring more men. We need men on this call. God bless you. We'll see you on Tuesday.